What is up, my beautiful people? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Exile451 here with yet another daily dose of Reddit Happy. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's go into the weekend with some inspiration from r/Get Disciplined. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, I've gone to this thread a few times now, but for anyone new, or for anyone who might have forgotten the topic, the question is, people who worked their butt off to change their life, what's your story? As usual for this, no commentary till the end. I vividly remember being broke in my teens and my parents struggling to make ends meet. It didn't affect me that much initially, mostly because I was still in school and couldn't do anything about it. By the time I finished high school and was in college, I started to see how being broke affected the respect my parents received from the members of our extended family, and how we were often looked down upon by the other members of our community. Being extremely sensitive as I am, it all made me hurt like heck, because I saw my parents suffer. It made me take a few steps towards my career, and I started working my butt off for pretty much all of my youth. I'm 27 now, and the midlife crisis thing is already sinking in. I started at 19, and by the time I was 25, life has passed in a blur, with me spending late nights and early mornings working and loving it in the process. Long story short, we now have a nice little home in a great locality and a flourishing business. We still have to pay off the loans and everything, but when we look back at the times we went through, we probably weren't even capable of making 1/10 of what we make today financially. And naturally, that made people's attitude towards us, especially my parents, change. Grew up very poor. My mother was/is a drug addict and suffered with depression quite severely, spending days in bed at a time. My dad was basically non-existent and doesn't particularly give a crap about me. Parents broke up while I was young, so yeah. I got quite good at fending for myself, feeding myself, etc. My mom would sell stuff my dad would buy for me, so we had money. As soon as I hit 16, I got a job and would do 20 to 25 hours a week working as well as studying. I didn't particularly like school, but did well at it, went to college, and somehow ended up at university. Graduated and landed a graduate job. I made sure I saved and saved so that after university, I could move into my own place. Plus, I've got my partner of 5 years who is supportive of me, which helps. I don't think I've particularly done much to get the life I have. But it would have been very easy to go, I've had a crappy upbringing, so I'm not going to break the cycle. At a young age, I made a vow that I wouldn't be like my parents. I love my mom, and my upbringing made me who I am, so I don't regret it. It was just an obstacle to work around. And I'm very grateful for the life I get to live now. Still sort of in the process of changing my life, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. I'm 19 currently. To keep it simple, I grew up in a broken home. Brother has been in and out of mental hospital since he was 13, writing about how he wanted to kill himself at 8, etc. Tried to OD many times. All because he's autistic and my father wanted him to be someone he's not. Father treated me the same way. I have huge anxiety and depression issues, lost confidence in myself, never felt like I was good enough at anything. My brother and sister have both seriously attempted suicide. My sister is 16 now, 3 years younger than me. My mother is completely bonkers now after that marriage with my father. She will burst into tears over nothing, doesn't even get out of bed sometimes. I've been seriously depressed for years, couldn't move out of bed, etc. Went to a new 6th form at 16, had no friends. Everyone seemed to be friends without me, not inviting me to parties, etc. All of my teachers hated me. My mother and father treated me like I was a failure. Even my online friends turned their back on me in favor of some others. I had no one, nothing. But I worked my butt off 8 hours a day revising from February to June for my A-level exams. Because I knew going to a good university would be my only salvation. Worked all of that time and still went to my dream university. Lived with 7 other people 5 of them suddenly became best friends, excluded me from everything, were horrible, blamed me for literally everything that went wrong, dishwashing and whatnot, even when it wasn't my fault. Had 2 good friends. One tried to kill herself a month in, the other threatened to kill me a couple months later. Complete psychopath. Thought I was trying to ruin his life. The one friend I did make, the girl, strung me along for 3 months after stalling, saying she wasn't ready for a relationship, but then started going out with a bloke a couple weeks later. No friends at university, no way of making friends. Worked abroad for 2 months at a summer camp and came back. Best 2 months of my life, made real friends. Great. Now I have a goal. Something to strive for. To make my life as happy as that camp. My mother now doesn't want me around her house, but won't tell me why. Just avoids me. Stopped speaking to my father at this point after he blamed me for my confidence issues and took no responsibility for them. My brother has turned into my father, just gets angry with me all the time and is misogynistic and racist. So, I was stuck in this position. No friends where my mom lives, a room there, but she subconsciously doesn't want me around, no friends at university, no friends where my dad lived, living with 2 people I despised, one of whom was this girl, and a 2-year degree to complete when it was the last thing on my mind. I felt very much like I had fallen through the cracks, like everyone else was simply getting on with their lives happily and didn't care to help me. What had I done to deserve any of this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I tried my hardest to be kind to everyone I met. But everyone I met just abused that and treated me horribly. But I powered through it. Set my goals, what I wanted my room to be like, what I wanted my social circle to be like, sports I wanted to play, and set about achieving them. I'm now well on the way to beating depression, finishing my degree, have made a couple good friends, and I'm making progress at the gym. It may not sound like much, but you've got to believe that one day, if you put the work in, it will get better. I read a lot of stories, similar to this on 4chan and elsewhere, about depression. But the reality is, nobody gives a crap. In Western society, the vast majority of people are selfish and don't care for others, at least in my experience. As soon as you realize that yes, life is unfair, yes, you have done nothing to deserve depression, and that's just the way it is, you can do something about it. The only one who can beat depression is you. Eat properly, sleep properly, cold showers, exercise. You can do it. I believe in you. You're capable of far more than you realize. 2 years ago, I was on a 9-day suicide hold. I got out and was homeless. I lost custody of my son, I was in the middle of an abusive divorce, and I'd never had a job longer than 6 months. 2 years later, I'm living with my partner, and we have 100% custody of our special needs son. I am the sole breadwinner for my family. I started as a part-time clerk in my company, and in 15 months have worked my way to assistant manager. My goal for this year is to be promoted to store manager in training. I will finally, 3rd time's the charm, be graduating with my associate's degree. In 2020, we are hoping to try for a baby and expect one by 2021. I spent 3 years being hit and yelled at daily. It cost me everything I knew to leave and almost cost me my life. It can get better. I got kicked out of nursing school. Spent the first 2 years of college having fun and getting mediocre grades. Once I started the nursing classes, I tried to buckle down, but didn't cut it. I was devastated, and it was embarrassing having to tell people what happened. Applied to community college, retook the main prereqs like A&P, Chem, and got straight A's. Got into their nursing program, acceptance rate was about 30 to 40% of applicants, busted my chops in class and clinical, then worked night shift 32 hours a week to pay bills. Recorded classes with a small recorder, then listened to the classes on repeat while cleaning, folding laundry, jogging, everything. Graduated in the top 5 of my class. Got my BSN online while working full-time. Paid off my student loans the same year I got my BSN degree. Finally, I was promoted to charge nurse after only 1 year of nursing. I went to nursing school full-time while working both a full-time job and a part-time job after a horrendous divorce, complete with victim's protective order and an astounding amount of debt that I was not aware of before the divorce. I've never worked so hard at anything before or since, and still can't tell you how I got through it, other than one day at a time. This is after having major depression from 16 through 40. I was also overweight. 18 years later, I have not had another depressive episode. I lost 95 pounds. The debts are paid off, though I would have been smart to have taken bankruptcy. The kids are successful adults. I have a decent job, a small 401k. I own my home. Okay, the bank still owns it, but I pay it off in 7 years, and will retire with a pension next year, which, when I claim Social Security, will be the same amount that I am making now. I also get to do some of the travel I've always wanted to do. It was worth it. Plus now, I am fairly certain that I can do anything remotely possible if I really, really want it. Well, those stories are just some more great examples of how anything is possible, how your life circumstances don't dictate who you become. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do anything you set your mind to. The people in every one of these stories all had a massive hurdle to overcome, and yet they managed to pull it off. You can do it too. There is no one holding you back but your own insecurities. You got this. Going into the weekend, just remember, you've got this. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Just believe in yourself. That was r/Get Disciplined, and if you want more stories like this, feel free to check out the playlist in the description below. Also, if you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe so you can get more of your daily dose of Reddit Happy. And you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram in the links below. Now you go out there, have a great weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.